graph on the left. This graph shows that state funding for higher education remains far below pre-recession levels in most states from 2008 to 2016. Can you guess which state is the lowest? Louisiana. Louisiana is $4,602 below pre-recession levels. A balance wheel of state budgets is a common phrase used to describe higher education. According to Michael Mitchell, Michael Leachman, and Kathleen Masterson in their 2016 article, Funding Down, Tuition Up, years of cuts in state funding has driven up tuition and harmed students' educational experiences by forcing faculty reductions, fewer class offerings, and even campus closings. These choices have made school less affordable and less accessible for students who need a degree to succeed in today's economy. I never thought much about the dangers that less funding was causing until I began doing research for this speech. As I'm a current college student, this topic is very important to me and has made me realize that there's a great need for more funding for higher education. I hope to persuade you that with the decline in funding, it leads to a need for more funding and what can be done to solve this problem. But first, let's look more closely at the issues surrounding the decline in funding for higher education. One of the main issues of states cutting funds is that tuition is continuing to rise for college students. Michael Mitchell states that between last year and this year, Louisiana has increased its average tuition across its four-year institutions more than any other state, hiking it up by more than 7%. 9 other states have increased their average tuition by more than 5%. And here you can see in this other graph on the right that tuition has increased sharply at public colleges and universities, with Arizona and Louisiana being the ones that have increased the most. With tuition increasing, it's making it harder for a lot of students to be able to attend school and to be able to afford it. Tuition growth has greatly outpaced the income gains in families. High tuition is discouraging some students to enroll in college, and especially low-income students in particular. There are only 2 states who have cut higher education more than Louisiana. Cuts to Louisiana's colleges is making school less affordable and decreasing the quality of education that students are getting. One way to solve this problem is for the government to increase the tax on cigarettes. This money would be used to go toward higher education. According to Chuck and Hung in their 2014 article, higher tax rates can improve health and increase revenue. The president's proposal to raise excise tax on tobacco products and use the additional revenue to expand preschool education could raise approximately $78 billion in revenue, and that would be over 10 years to finance early childhood education. States have significantly received more tax revenue from raising cigarette tax rates. Ann Boone explains in a 2017 study that Mississippi increased taxes by 50 cents per pack of cigarettes, leading to $89 million in revenue. By increasing cigarette taxes, it not only increases funding, but also it can increase the health in people. Higher taxes can also help save money by lowering healthcare costs for tobacco-related reasons. People who want less funding believe that higher taxes is having a negative impact. But with less funding, it is not only going to increase tuition, but also it'll lead to universities having to cut staff and or having to cut classes. If this plan is not implemented, funding will continue to decline. Based on trends, the average state support for public colleges and universities will reach 0 by 2059, and it can occur even earlier in some states. Without state support for higher education, tuition increases, leading to faculty positions being cut, fewer class offerings, reduced library services, shut down computer labs, and even close campuses. As stated by Phil Olaf in a 2013 article, for example, Arizona's university system has cut more than 2,100 schools, colleges, programs, and departments, merged, consolidated, and isolated about 182 colleges, and closed 8 extension campuses. Changing these trends and reinvesting in higher education should be a major priority. There's a large growth in the future for college-educated workers. Therefore, by reinvesting in colleges to keep a low tuition and good quality of education will help with developing skilled workers. In conclusion, I believe that there is a great need for more funding for higher education. This funding will help decrease tuition and allow students to be able to get good quality education. Across the country, policymakers are facing hard decisions on funding for higher education. Therefore, we have to begin acting on this plan now by expressing to our local congressmen what needs to be done. This is a simple task that anyone can do. By making them aware of the issue and it's a step towards success in creating high quality education. Michael Mitchell states that states that renew their commitment to a high affordable system of public higher education by increasing its revenue that these schools receive will help build a stronger middle class and develop the entrepreneurs and the skilled workers that are needed in the new century. Thank you.